Alright, I'm just going to put together a quick astrodoodle.
Alright, let's have a look here.
Alright, so I'm just trying to tidy up a little astrodoodle here. It's Friday noon over here in sunny, hot Las Vegas. Okay, I'm just checking in. Let's see if I can say hi to everybody while I'm here. This is just going to be a short little, video to keep everyone up to date. Let's see if we can do this. How am I going to do this? Okay, here we go. Greetings, this is Lumination. Just checking in to say hi. It's Friday, 27th of May here in sunny Las Vegas. Of course, I'm up in the space station right now. I have a stationary orbit right on top of Las Vegas. It makes it a little bit cooler, a little more refreshing. You know, we got everything's automated here. We can do anything from here. So anyway, I wanted to just do a couple of run through for a couple of notes for June and even into July. And I've got some really scary stuff to show you. I'm not sure if I can actually do it on this channel. I'm going to see if I can do it with like code language so I don't get, annihilated by the algorithm. All right, let me go over here for a moment. Hello, Diana. I see you. Greetings. I hope you're well. So right now, this is the astrodoodle for today. We have two huge stelliums, and we have an even bigger stellium coming up in a few days. Like a few days ago, and it's still here for a while, we've got these big, fat, sweet, harmonious trine energies here on Earth signs with Pluto and all this stuff here in Taurus. So that's very stabilizing for Earth, but you have to understand there's still a tremendous amount of instability. We've got Uranus over here, okay? Uranus is in Taurus, roughly 15 degrees, so it is at the maximum power of expression. So you've probably noticed like there is an incredible amount of disruption, shocks, chaos in the world financial system and in the world environment. Things like floods, hurricanes, waters, tornado, earthquakes, and a lot of basically really scary stuff happening on planet Earth, way and above beyond average, you could say. If people are really into it, they talk about things like grand solar minimums and solar cycles and solar flares and all that, with all the potential for blackouts, power blackouts all across the world, all across the country. Your computers go down, your electricity disappears for hours or days, who knows. You got to get ready, you got to be prepared, people. We've got the big hard square over here between Pluto and Venus. That's not nice at all, okay? Venus is all about love, harmony, and balance, but Venus in Aries is almost like, hey, I get turned on by fights, So you got to be careful here. This is a real setup for warfare, abuse. This is a real setup for violent abuse. And of course, we've talked about that already. Now look at this one. Okay, see over here in the 12th house, Neptune is now officially all on its own here in the 12th house. We've been living with this big stellium for ages. We saw the massive draining of the swamp in Washington, D.C., and then we saw the exposure of all the swamp creatures in Washington, D.C. And now it is oozing out and leaking out all over the media, especially what I would call truthful media. The mainstream media are doing everything they can to distract and avoid dealing with the truth, dealing with reality, because it's very ugly and it's very contrary to their agenda, which, of course, as you know, is total global takeover by a bunch of technocrats and elites over in Switzerland right now, in Davos. So over here, so right now today, we have Mars, Jupiter, Chiron, and Venus all piled up here in Aries. That's a lot of Aries energy. That's serious, type energy. Bang, bang, shoot, shoot. Come on, man. I freaking dare you. It's like energy looking for a fight. Okay? Soon, in a few days, Venus is going to transit over here into Taurus. Okay, so we're going to have another big stellium. The moon will already be moved on over here, but in a few days, Venus is going to be stuffed over here with the other planets. So it's going to be Venus, Uranus, North Node, and Mercury, all in Taurus over there. But especially with Uranus at 15 degrees here. And basically everything is that should be, can't be any other way. That's just how it is. So it's once you understand that, it's like really fundamental physics, laws of nature, then you have to understand that all the horrific things that are happening on planet Earth right now are exactly as they should be. It is a direct consequence of human beings being human beings in our worst and our best behavior. Okay, there's some amazing things happening on Earth, beautiful, wondrous things, but the conversation and the media seems to be overloaded with all the scary stuff, and it's not surprising. People need to become aware. Okay, so there's a lot of shifting energy here. Let me go to my notes. The point of this video today is I just want to give you some notes, and you can maybe mark your diary or something. So we're looking forward already now into June, okay? On June 3rd, Mercury is already back in Taurus retrograde, but it's going to turn direct. So here we are. Mercury is already back here in Taurus after being in Gemini for a while, but Mercury is going this way. And on June 2nd, it's going to be stationary, then it's going to flip back and look like it's going this way, like the normal motion, okay? So be aware of that. Things get pretty choppy when you go over the stationary moment of direct or retrograde. It gets pretty choppy. It's like kind of going through the sound barrier, either going out of it or coming into it. Very choppy, very bumpy. So be aware. And next on the 3rd also, Saturn turns retrograde. Okie dokie. It's going retrograde in Aquarius for 5 months. That's almost as long as the Pluto retrograde. That's freaking scary, man. Let me show you here. Okay, so we're right at the end of May. Okay, we just had the Scorpio Taurus eclipses. We're way down here now, at the end of May. Pluto has been retrograde for a month. Mercury's been retrograde all this time. Mercury's going to flip in just a moment, and you'll see. But watch, look at June. Okay? Within the first week of June, 3rd and 4th, around here, Saturn is going retrograde. And that gray smear is going on for 5 months in parallel with Pluto. So that's going to be very heavy, serious energy. It's a lot of reckoning, reality checks with humanity, human behavior. In Nevada and Las Vegas, we have an election day here. So anyway, let me just go back to my notes. Okay, now we've got, so let me mention here, with Saturn turning retrograde. Okay, well, you know what I should mention, like with the Mercury, when it goes retrograde, in Taurus, it's very much about money, and the way I see it, like with what's going on in the world of money. So if you want to find out more about that, you need to go check out the World Economic Forum and the Federal Reserve banks and go to their websites, because they are trying to create something that is basically a digital imprisonment. Okay? We've talked about this before. And they're going to push their agenda further and further and further. Of course, we had the revolution in money as well, Uranus and Taurus. So there's this competing parallel world of money, and that's mostly to do with cryptocurrencies. That's a whole other subject. Maybe we should talk about that one day, because I'm vested there. All right, now with Saturn turning retrograde in Aquarius, that's going to be very, very tough on China, and a little bit for America. America is born with Moon in Aquarius. China is born with Moon in Aquarius, but also Aquarius on the horizon. So the Aquarian energy is a very big deal for China. I don't know if you're aware of this, but China is in really deep, deep trouble, okay? With their economy, with their politics, with their population, with water, with food, with lockdowns, diseases, and more and more and more rejection of the CCP by the population of China. The population of China hates the CCP, just letting you know. But they don't have any way to defend themselves. They don't have any bang-bang sticks, and they don't have any rights of freedom of speech or anything like that. They don't have courts of law that help them in any way. So with Saturn going retrograde, I believe there's going to be a very serious reckoning going on in China. And the worse it gets in China, the more outwardly violent and expressive they are going to become over the next 5 months. Hint, hint, Taiwan. Hint, hint, the South China Sea. Everything around the oceans and by China. Okay, so just giving you a heads up. And of course, as you already know, there's a lot of headbutting going on in Tokyo and the Indo-Pacific right now. Actually, let me take out my little map, of course. Okay, so there's going to be huge amounts of escalating problems and trouble and protests and violence over here. Okay, Sri Lanka is already completely broken down. Their whole country is completely broken down over here. And Pakistan is a complete meltdown. They're having riots and protests over the whole country because of the political stuff going on there. Okay, just to let you know, there's a lot of really bad stuff. You know all about the stuff over here in Eastern Europe. Let me keep going. On the 12th, a third of the way through the month roughly, Venus conjoins Uranus, conjunct in Taurus. So my feeling is that this is going to trigger a lot of instability in relationships on a global scale. So that is going to fall into another ingredient that's going to increase the instability in terms of relationships between humanity. Basically, all the countries, all the politicians, all the leaders, all the bankers, all the people who want all the power and control and money, things are going to become extremely volatile and very contentious. Okay? How does that affect you personally? Well, book a private reading. There you go. On the 13th and around the 14th, we have the full moon in Sagittarius. Okay? The sun will be in Gemini and the moon will be fully opposite in Sagittarius. I'll show you on here. Okay, so around the 13th and the 14th, the sun will be here and the moon will be here. Okay, and eventually that's going to cause a lot of stress on the Neptune Pisces area over here. So there's going to be more issues regarding fraud, lies, deception, betrayal, perversion. Like even right now, they're building up to it. There's some protests in Rome and Italy right now because of all the pedophile priests that have been exposed, but they're not being brought into justice. Okay? I mean, all this, child abuse stuff that's happened in the 80s and got exposed in the 80s and the 90s, this stuff is still going on. It's just typically not headline news anymore. But there are still a tremendous number of serious hardcore perverts, pedophiles at the extreme top of the pyramid of power. You've got to be very careful, but that's the reality. These are facts, okay? So I think there's going to be a bit of I think it's going to be a bit of a bumpy time around the full moon, especially with global communications about hopes and aspirations and, let's say, universal truth that needs to be exposed across the earth, in contrast with subjective truth that is being perpetrated by the media and all these elites who want to try and take over the world through their globalism. Okay? Okay, let's move on. Oh yeah, also look here, Mars is conjunct Chiron in Aries. That is a total setup for really, really ancient wounds that become agitated again. It's like people are looking for ways to find justice because of the violent, evil wounds that humanity has brought upon itself. Okay? We are our own worst enemies, and you can see that very clearly in the global politics and financial system today. So always remember, protect your money, protect your privacy, protect yourself, mind your own business, literally. MYOB. That's the most important thing you can do. Moving on the 21st, we have Venus trine Pluto. How sweet, okay? In reality, I think that's going to be another reality check, okay? Like it's going to be very difficult to move on as humanity without settling out some very, very difficult aberrations in human love and human relationships, okay? Thank you, Diana. I don't mean to be rude, but it is really MYOB. Mind your own business. Stop trying to take over and control everyone else's lives, like the Davos crowd. Why can't they just mind their own business and enjoy their lives rather than thinking they have to control the whole of planet Earth? So on the 21st, we have a shift. Okay, we're moving into Cancer season. Okay, Sun moves into Cancer. So there's going to be a big, subtle change of vibes. And over that month, there we're going to have the big opposition between Sun and Cancer. At the end of the Cancer season, is going to be opposing Pluto. Okay, so this is going to be really relevant to what's happening in the United States. Things are going to get really bumpy inside the United States because we're still going to have some Aries energy over here. Jupiter is in Aries, okay? It's going to be there for a while. Then it's going to retrograde back into Pisces and then direct again through Aries, okay? So please understand the rest of 2022 is going to be a very, I would say, bumpy ride for a lot of people. Issues regarding home and family, of course, will dominate. On the 29th of June, we're going to have the Cancer new moon. And it happens to be in a hard square with Jupiter and Aries, okay? So, to me it feels like, you know how Cancerian energy, it wants like what is wholesome and good for friends and family, especially in the home. It wants security in the home. But Jupiter is in Aries, it's like serious, hardcore, bust-out energy. And I think the Jupiter energies is going to really shake up the Cancerian energy of home and family. Okay? Aries, again, remember, it's the sign of war, the sign of the warrior, ruled by Mars, okay? Mars can represent action and energy, but it can also represent violence and conflict, okay? On the 29th, also, July, all the way to July 2nd, we've got this long, slow building up. It's going to go for weeks, okay? But this is the one that really concerns me, okay? I'm just going to point this out here. This is what really concerns me. Mars squaring Pluto at the end of June, about a month from now. It's going to build up, and I think this is going to be a flashpoint, a trigger point, perhaps of no return. I don't know. I'm not a fortune teller. I'm just looking at this as a weather indicator. Mars in Aries squared Pluto in Capricorn. I see this as a total setup for war. And because the way I do these charts, I have to write it like this. I don't want to promote this stuff. I don't want to scare people. But what it looks like is this. Okay? It's already set up. Everything's already set up. We have massive military buildups. All over here with NATO versus Russia and all of that. And the Middle East is getting sucked into it as well. India is getting sucked into war with China. Okay? America is getting sucked into war with China over here. And, you know, you put it all together, this warfare, we're talking about, this is the battlefield over here. This is the battlefield over here. My personal view, it really would help to bring the battle to those battlefields. We don't want any battlefields here in this country. We already have enough chaos and upheaval over here. I got a few more things to report to you guys, then we'll just wrap it up. I know I sound like a conspiracy theorist, and in some ways I am, but in reality, I have a gut feeling about things, and I double check, and I discover that there's some truth to my gut feelings. And when I have other people that I trust and love who send me information that basically endorses and validates my feelings or my thoughts or my own research, then I don't feel so insane. The problem is the kind of stuff that we're talking about here is the stuff that is consistently being avoided, distracted, and buried on the mainstream media. Okay? You have to understand, those folks over there in Davos right now, that's these folks. Do you recognize that? These folks, okay? These represent 2,500 people of the elite of the elite of the elite of the whole of planet Earth. And their goal is complete one world government. Their motto is Build Back Better. You may have heard that from Uncle Joe. And their plan is going exactly to the script that they have created over the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Okay, so a lot of you have probably heard about the shooting over in Uvalde, Texas. My gut instinct, and several other people I know, were like, this is rigged. This is true evil. I got a link sent to me earlier today about how certain children over the last few years have been groomed. They've identified these kids. They've come out. And I'm not going to insert the links onto my channel or anything. I'm already, kind of way out of bounds with the algorithm talking about this stuff. But these folks here, I'll just put it in print like this. Okay, these folks here in America, you've probably heard of them. They have been outed and proven to have selected a couple of kids and groomed them to essentially be right-wing violent terrorists. And they do this and they practice it. Now, my personal feeling is that the Uvalde thing is exactly one of those events, and it came to fruition. That's why I write it here. This place in Texas, this thing that happened with the guns, I feel it was rigged. You'll understand that if you check out certain trustworthy news reports, especially if you go to the Epoch Times and a couple of news reports that are coming up on world news, nothing to do with America, and some of the news reports that it's even coming out by the cops and the representatives of the cops in Uvalde, that there are some serious problems that they had over there in the town and with the cops and the school and everything. But the really, really scary thing about this place and the event that just happened is that they've got stuff. The cops have stuff on video footage that shows that one of the school doors around the side was opened up and propped open with a door jammer by a teacher inside the school that allows the kid to get in there and do his business. Okay? I don't know about you, but to me that sounds like it's rigged. And then there's a lot of very, very poor, completely inappropriate actions and behaviors that happened with the local cops, okay? That just adds more evidence to me to make it feel like it's all rigged. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Here's another thing that was rigged. There was a massive train derailed in Canada. Guess what was on that train? I'll put it here in red. Okay? That was sabotage. I can't prove it, but I'm just going to put it on here. Anyway, just for the hell of it, because that's my belief system. I'm not saying it is or it isn't. That's just what I happen to believe. I'm not telling you that's what happened. That's what I believe. Same thing over here. I'm not telling you that's what happened. It's just that's what I believe. So the whole event for these folks, they've been going at it all week in Davos, Switzerland, and they are absolutely on cue with their Agenda 2030. It is alive and well, and it is growing and expanding. The next big step is for them to really pump it across the whole of planet Earth, that these folks here, okay, this is part of their massive plan to take over the world, okay? What they're trying to do is set up this. Okay? I hope you can read that. So you should be scared, people. If you're not scared, you need to start studying and learning and finding out about some of this stuff. Do some of the research. And it's okay to get angry, but it's actually better off just to accept that, like in the global pyramid of power, people like yourself and myself, no insult intended, but we're at the very, very bottom end right here. And the folks that I'm talking about over here, they are at the very tippity top of that pyramid of power, control, and money. They want everything. So can you imagine? They're using the same business models that they use in this place. Actually, I've used that word many times in the channel. It's okay to say that. So the China, as you know, it has something called the CCP. It's the Chinese Communist Party, okay? And they have an extremely efficient, extremely powerful mechanism of operation. It is a complete totalitarian communist control system over the whole of society. Your health, your money, your jobs, your banking, your food, your travel, your life, okay? They control everything, and they've already started using it. That's these things here. Central bank digital currencies. They've already got it with their digital yuan. They're practicing on millions of people, and it works. Basically, it's how they basically control and own the sheeple. Anyway, I know this is kind of a scary video. I'm not doing it to scare people. It's more like about waking up. We really, really, really need to wake up. Uranus in Taurus is shaking the whole of planet Earth to try and wake everybody up. There's a lot of fakery, fraud, deception, lies, betrayal that's been going on for decades and decades, okay? Thank you, Diana. I like your approach. Good, healthy attitude. I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to scare people too much. There's so much stuff coming to the surface now. It's almost like it's opening a massive floodgate to a sewage plant where they can't contain the sewage anymore, and it's just flooding out. And all the powers that typically control, the gates that allow this information to come and go, they're starting to lose their ability to hold back the flood of human, psychic, spiritual, financial, emotional, violent sewage that is pouring out from the very, very tippity top of that pyramid of power. They can't stop the flood. The flood is there. It's gushing out all over planet Earth right now. And that's part of their plan. You have to understand that. They literally want to basically kind of destroy. I mean, to be honest, I believe that they're looking to destroy or eliminate about 2.5 billion people who are considered to be surplus to requirement, basically expendables. The thing, I mean, I understand arguments for population control, but there's things that you can do naturally by loving decisions, loving choices. But there are some people up there at the very tippity top who believe that it's their right and their obligation and their duty to control it according to their clock, their agenda. So those are two different approaches, because either way, nature will take care of itself. If humanity continues to overpopulate itself, we've already increased, since I started this channel, we've almost got another 1 billion people on Earth. Okay? That is freaking staggering, okay? Humans are humans. The drive to procreate is incredibly powerful. It is the most powerful drive to survive, okay? If you watch that movie, My Octopus Teacher, that'll blow your mind. You'll understand the drive to survive. It's so fundamental to our DNA that we will basically do anything, do whatever we have to do in order to survive. Sometimes surviving means understanding that I will not be here after a while. And so what some people do is that they create families and make children to pass on their legacy, to pass on their DNA. And go see the movie My Octopus Teacher, okay? Rather than me trying to explain it here, okay? What really, really counts is being loving. And what that does, it's like plants little seeds for being loved. When I do this channel, when I do these astrodoodles, when I do personal readings and tarot and all of that, I'm working directly one-on-one with people. And all I want to do is help people. Basically, how to survive, how to be happy. I can't do that unless someone actually requests it. I don't feel it is my role to impose help or health upon anyone. Things happen in a natural way. Some of my friends were explaining to me that it's okay to yell that your channel is like this. Whoever needs to be there will be there. Whoever is not there, it's not your fault, it's not your business. Just keep doing what you do. Everybody has different pathways and agendas how they live their lives. Right now, protect your money, protect your privacy, and protect yourself physically, okay? Do whatever you got to do, because the financial mayhem that is coming, inflation, it's unstoppable. It doesn't matter what Jerome Powell or the Federal Reserve does. Either way, it's this. So be prepared. Sometimes it really helps to do things like watch really beautiful things or get yourself deep into nature and remember the amazing wonders of this planet and how truly unique and blessed we are. It's an amazing place, this amazing shrinking planet. It's amazing. Anyway, I'm going to sign out now. Let's see. I'm just going to do a quick outro, I guess you call it. I'm still not used to doing these weekday videos, but we'll see. So